Good morning, everyone. My name is KHAVYA and I am from SMJK Nanhua, school code AEB 1031. Today, I am honored and delighted to share my book review on a book that moved my heart and opened eyes to a world outside of my own. The book is 1,000 Splendid Suns by world-renowned author KHOSEINI. It consists of 384 pages of gripping stories, brimming with emotion, pain, and humanness. 1,000 Splendid Suns is an Afghanistan-based novel, and it's set between the country's 3 decades of history, between the 1960s and the early 2000s. It begins before the Soviet invasion and stretches onto the Taliban government, the civil war, and the hardships of the ordinary Afghan citizen, especially women. It's not a historical fiction novel only. It's an evocative story of survival, sacrifice, and courage. The novel centers on 2 females, Mariam and Laila, who lead very different existences early on. Mariam is an illegitimate child raised in isolation and shame. She is a life of rejection and muteness. She is married to Rashid, a man much older than her, at the age of 15. He becomes violent and abusive towards her shortly after. Laila, though, is born years afterward to a well-educated and loving family. She hopes to go to university and live a good life. War interrupts her, however. She loses her parents in a bombing and has no choice but to marry Rashid too, for survival. Then, to start with, there is animosity between Laila and Mariam. They are foreigners who must have the same husband and house. But slowly, by shared agony, something lovely is born. They come to love one another, to nourish one another. Theirs grows into a sturdy, honest friendship that forms the emotional hub of the novel. It was so beautiful to see their friendship transform their anguish into endurance. The most sensational moment of the book comes when Laila gives birth to her son Zalmai under the Taliban regime. Due to repressive laws that did not allow male doctors to treat women, and due to the fact that the women's hospitals lacked proper facilities, Laila has to undergo a cesarean operation without any anesthetic. I could not even think of the suffering she had endured, yet endured it quietly with courage, but not for herself, but for her child. It shocked me to my roots and made me see the kind of suffering the women in war-torn countries face. It made me appreciate how quickly we tend to take medical care and common human rights for granted. The novel also raises several other themes, but the most emotional theme is that of women's endurance. In a society where women must be quiet and obedient, Mariam and Laila demonstrate how bravery can be quiet but powerful. They are not superheroes, but they are real, broken, powerful in a way that feels genuine. Through them, we learn how women can survive abuse, fear, and war. Their strength is the most powerful message in the book. Hosseini's writing is poetic but straightforward, emotional but clear. His descriptions of Kabul before and after the war are so real that I could have almost pictured the streets and smelled the dust. He does not sensationalize the agony or the tragedy. He reports it as it is, which makes it all the more powerful. He doesn't just invite the reader to read the story, but to live it, to live in the hearts of the characters. I thank you all so much for listening. I hope that this review inspires you to read this great book and discover the strength and beauty of its story for yourself. Thank you.